G'day everyone, today I'm in Binalong, which is in southern New South Wales, and we're on our way to Canberra, but that's for a whole nother story. So today we left Melbourne and we've driven up here. We were planning to do a day at Cootamundra, which I put on my Facebook and on my Instagram, but unfortunately due to a couple of things that I'll tell you about shortly, we didn't quite get there. So yeah, we're here at Binalong, we're gonna keep moving along. Oh, awful pun. And we're gonna catch some more trains hopefully. So I'll tell you all about today and then we'll move right along. Cool, let's get into it. So, unfortunately, on leaving Melbourne, there wasn't too much rail action happening that morning, or at least that we saw. Aside from apparently a defective and shut down 602 stabled at Yurong Creek. So we started in Junee, a rail hub. At Junee, of course, there is the Roundhouse, as well as the Roundhouse Railway Museum, a place where I did visit at the end of last year, and if you do want to find out more about that, of course, you can check out the video here. Although while we did stop in here, 4708 was moving around the yard. The first service of the day that we caught was the Melbourne-bound XPT. Now, a week beforehand, there had been a collision between an SSR grain train and a gravel truck, just outside of Junee on the line to Griffith. Both the crews of the train and the driver of the gravel truck all walked away from this accident with only minor injuries. However, the locomotive and the truck, well, not so much. We had previously passed some of the grain wagons being transported back to SSR in Bendigo, Victoria. Well, it was then that I guess our problem started. What looked to be a car aerial had punctured the rear tyre of my car. So after a wheel change, it was back on the road to Cootamundra. Cootamundra is located in New South Wales within the Riverina region. Coota is a railway town where you have the main south line that links Sydney to Melbourne, as well as a junction to Stock and Bingle, which leads to Griffith and Parkes. So aside from the two busy main lines, you also have Southern Short Haul Railroad's Sutherland sidings, where SSR have a depot and a servicing facility. Not to mention, Pacific National also have a light servicing facility in the yards, as well as that, the GrainCorp sub-terminal, as well as an array of track maintenance vehicles and servicing equipment. So I guess there's a lot of railway infrastructure in a small area. As well as that, on the Sydney side, there is a triangle where trains branch off to Temora, Griffith, Parkes, which gives them a direct link to Sydney whilst being able to avoid the Blue Mountains. Trains that come through here are frequent, and on any given day you can get a good variety of trains, although majority is freight. Now there are lots of places to go if you do have a car, but if you don't, there are some good vantage points from around the station precinct, including a very handy footbridge, which does overlook the rear of SSR's storage, where we did see the CL under restoration, as well as a couple of other locomotives awaiting reactivation. On the west side of the triangle is Cootamundra West, a station that was closed in 1983 to passengers. However, the building remains. Now, on the day we were there, we had a loaded grain train coming from Stock and Bingle with 8255 and 8168. The train subsequently did have to wait for the Sydney-bound XPT to cross it, before moving through the triangle to stable in the main Cootamundra yard. As the weather was already less than desirable and it wasn't getting any better, we decided to keep moving along to Binalong, a place where I've been meaning to have a good look around, as it is somewhere that has featured in a number of model railway exhibition videos, as the Epping Model Railway Club has built a HO scale, version of this area. It's a real shame to see the state that this has been left in. I think it would make an amazing B&B or even a museum. After being there a little while, there was a light engine movement upon us, with GM10 and 42103 in its magnificent candy livery. I believe that this had come off the AK testing train and was transferring to either Junee or Cootamundra. This was closely followed by a cube containerised freight train heading to the new regional intermodal of Bowman, just outside of Wagga Wagga. With that, we moved along to the quaint town and station at Boning. where we managed to catch Pacific National Steel Train 4NY3 headed to Whyalla in South Australia. The race was then on to Yass Junction to catch the last couple of trains of the day before the sun went down. First train through was 3BM4 bound for Melbourne, which was closely followed by a Cube service off to Western New South Wales. So I guess that was our day on the main south. Now why was I out there? It was because I was off to Canberra Model Railway Exhibition, and whilst up there I did manage to make a few videos on both big and little trains. So if that's something you are keen on seeing, be sure to be subscribed so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming along on this little trip, and I'll see you all again soon. Hooroo!